the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Presented by Primary Arms. Yep, look a little different tonight because I'm out and mobile. We were just out looking at a house, so we're headed back to pick up my truck from my work and then on to the studio. So I'll join back eventually, but for now, I'm leaving it in the hands, maybe capable hands, of the rest of them. So I'll jump back in later. Okay, have fun now.
Have fun, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
It's your
have
turn.
fun. I didn't realize he was deliberately altering his voice, so I couldn't understand him. Shithead.
Jim, what have you been up to?
Who are you talking to?
Talking to you.
Me.
Yes. What
Well,
have you
I
been
can't
up
show
to?
you the whole thing, so I'll try not to. But I bought a red dot.
There you go. Okay.
And it's amazing. It's less than $30. It's one y'all give me hell about last week for going cheap. But the one nice thing about this thing, it's got both red dot and green dot.
Okay.
10 levels of illumination with the two colors combined. And I bought it to review it.
Nice. Nice.
It's called, of all things, Perfect Red Dot.
Oh, wow. The perfect red dot. Okay.
Right. And the other thing I did was I got our patches. I'm patches of the month. You all get them? These have been inspired by the Ukrainian conflict. I can tell you that right now. This is a Molotov cocktail. It says, Patriot Brew, 100% freedom by volume. Patriots Brew. Revolutionary taste, and of course y'all know, have recognized the Molotov cocktail.
Nice.
Nice one.
And I finally, after I got the new ones, guess what I found?
You found last month, huh?
Last one's patches and sticker.
Between just the three of us, obviously.
Yay, me. Anyway, I have to, this coming Sunday, I'll probably take this 22 to the range and put a few hundred rounds under that scope or under the red dot just to see what it works like. It's very capable right now. I could say that poor Rob Trott. Hunt Shoot Off-Road, his comment is, red dots are problematic in Australia now because they have banned devices that don't require a tool to remove the button batteries. Typical liberal logic. Thanks for Hunt Shoot Off-Road. Okay. Anyway, Mike said who we're sponsored by, so got that in. Nick and Ray, what did you all do in Gungeon Reloading this week?
Didn't do a lot.
This is why I hate being away from the podcast. Why? Because none of them can fucking. Sorry.
Am I hearing Mike? Am I the one hearing Mike? Or
no, you're hearing him.
Mike, you're not muted, buddy.
No, he is muted. Someone's got him playing on their.
Let me check. Somebody forgot to mute their YouTube channel. Sounds like.
My YouTube's muted. I don't know what the.
Okay.
Well, it's not me.
Anyway.
Checking.
Yeah, we didn't do much. I had to work quite a few days this week. One thing we did do, I forgot to say last week while we were out there in Pennsylvania, we did go to Sarco. That was a cool trip. Saw a lot of interesting stuff. That's about it.
Yeah, the same with me. Get home from traveling, had a bunch of yard work to get done, had to do some indoor the house projects. We had a lightning strike or a power surge at our house. I lost all the cable boxes in the house, had to put a new garage door opener up, and had to have the air conditioner looked at. It was kind of acting funny, but got all that done and back where I can start doing our normal stuff.
Yep.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah.
So can you guys hear me or not hear me? What's the verdict here?
Yeah, we can hear
We
you.
hear you.
We hear
Yeah,
you.
we can see you.
And we can see you.
Oh yeah, because I'm unmuted again. But what were you hearing when you were hearing me?
Oh, you're talking to your wife.
I heard several curse words.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So that's an interesting thing that the mobile doesn't work.
okay.
Anyway,
Sharp's in the kibitzing channel, bitching and moaning about having to work on the editing.
it'll divide out. So. Anyway, so I'm actually dropping out now since the mute doesn't work. Stupid freaking things. So I will join back. I just got to my truck. I'll be back on in about 15 minutes.
All right.
Sounds
Bye,
good.
Mike. Thank you.
Okay.
Sharenda.
Yes.
And what have you gotten a scope for that new rifle that you showing us?
Not yet.
Not yet. Have you decided on one?
No.
No.
I'm shopping.
Okay. You're shopping. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't. For some people, it's just easy to just decide you want a scope and just go grab it and put it on. I kind of want to know the why behind it. So I've actually been annoying and calling most of the manufacturers and asking them, why should I buy your scope? And they've actually been entertaining me. I really do want to know, but I'm not a glass girl, so it's been informative. Like I can understand a little bit more about what I'm going to invest in. So
Okay. Well, you have a precision rifle there, so but you want to take it for things other than just precision shooting.
right, and then next time I buy another bolt action, because I'm going to actually buy a gun for everybody that's got jokes about me getting free ones. When I slap another scope on it, I want to actually know why I want to put this specific scope on what I'm using and why. I don't want to just buy something because somebody told me to and just go with it. So other than that, nothing much. Just tinkering around in my workspace, and I got several ladies that have invited themselves over to my house to reload, and once I figure out the scope situation, they want me to show them what I know. So somehow girls after hours or happy hours have got a little strange here in the Midwest. We've gone from boozing to reloading and bringing over guns.
Sharenda, if you don't mind, I have a request. It might be entertaining, but it also might be informative. If you record some video, and we'll see to go through it or whatever, and perhaps post it along with the other stuff on the Reloading Podcast channel.
Of what, us reloading some stuff or just ladies hanging
Well,
out?
ladies kibitzing about optics and that sort of thing. Keep it gun related if you would, please.
Oh gosh, Jim. That's gonna be hard. Women are worse than teenage boys when you get more than 3 of us together in one room.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
try.
video of women reloading would be okay.
I'll try. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm actually horrible at that. I'm so involved with actually doing the stuff that I do not take the time to set up stuff to record or think about it until afterwards.
Paul, I muted you, buddy. Your phone was making a lot of racket. I'm going to mute. You're unmuted now.
And what was that, Chris Sharp, all in the same night? Well, yeah.
No,
Sharp
the report to us about how you're looking at scopes and what you're looking at a scope for. I mean, once you talk to these different manufacturers and stuff, because even some of the people here, the guys, they're looking at scopes for different reasons too, and they want a little more information.
Are we sure about that? Since we
Oh,
seem
yeah.
to be having so many complaints about us going off topic.
Well, is it off topic? I mean, we're if they don't like what we're doing, and I can understand that we're talking about reloading, but we've talked about a lot of reloading things here, from precision reloading down to regular, and if they don't like it, maybe they can suggest something for us to talk about.
That would be great. Yeah, I
You
can I
know,
can give some input from. Now keep in mind, guys, I'm taking this from a I don't know anything perspective. So the feedback that I have is going to be elementary and toddler like.
that's fine because a lot of people don't have a lot of information on scopes. You know, the thing that I was taught when I was buying my first guns was that you bought a scope that cost as much as the gun did. Okay.
Yep.
Well, nowadays, if a gun costs $5,000, are you buying a $5,000 scope? You need a $5,000 scope on a gun.
Yeah.
Pretty
And then
much.
and then from a newbie perspective, I'm like, let's be realistic. I don't know what I'm doing, so therefore I don't want to drop almost $3,000 on a scope when the only location I'm going to be shooting at, I can only get out as far as 400 yards at the moment. So there's different perspectives that I have to look at it from. And
Sure.
also, let's be realistic. What I'm finding out with guns, if you're going to buy one, you're going to end up buying two or three. So if I get a mid grade or a low end scope, there is always going to be another gun to move that over and upgrade to the next.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You have a
Legitimate
point,
shopping
Brenda.
excuse.
Good point,
Amen.
Brenda.
Yeah. And the difference between you at 400 yards and me at 400 yards is your target may be bigger than mine. You may be sitting there looking at a 400 yard IPSC target, and I'm looking at a 2 by 3 inch target at 400 yards.
Yep. And
So
then I also have to factor in, do I want to try to do this prone? Who's going to be there to help my ass get up off the ground? There's so many
sure.
things I got to factor in there.
But a lot of people shoot off of a bench, even in some of the PRS stages and stuff because they can't get into prone. Okay, so I mean there are handicapped areas in that. So um, it is what it is.
Strenda,
So
just let Nick and I know when you're going to do it. We'll come over and we'll shoot with you and we'll help you off the ground.
Bet, because I've also been interviewing ranges, like going out and visiting some, and I think I may have found one that I can afford that's not far from home, and I found out that I could bring up to 10 guests.
Cool. Cool.
So definitely.
there you
Cool.
go.
But I am taking suggestions for bipods. Please don't send me anything that's, oh, well, this one's $262 because I'm going to look at you sideways.
I recommend Harris.
That's what most people say.
Harris,
Yeah.
Harris.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm not going to say because I don't feel it, but with Harris you have to get a couple other things to make it work,
Okay.
and um, look at bipods and don't be afraid of a $200 bipod.
I'm not afraid of one. Just if you tell me I need to get a $250 bipod, I'm definitely gonna want to know the logic behind that. Remember, toddler approach.
Oh, I understand. I'm just sitting there saying that uh, as I look at bipods, I'm sitting there saying, okay, $500. All right, that's where a good bipod comes in at. But there is a lot of stuff that goes into one, and how it supports the gun, and where it supports the gun at. In other words, is it if the barrel is here and the bipod is down here and the point comes up and sits below it, you have a lot of wiggle. But if you come down and the barrel is even the the with the tops of the bipod, it becomes a better, more stable bipod.
Okay.
Um, it's just there's a lot of stuff out there on it, and Harris is the start. Okay,
Okay.
anything else is you're getting better. So
I agree. Harris is a good place to start. Very good place to start.
See, I'd never even heard of this brand until now. See, y'all already helping me out. I'm not trying to be totally cheap. It's just I'm looking at it from a perspective of I haven't even fired the gun off yet. So
We understand you haven't even got a scope for it yet, or rings and mounts, or anything else. So
right.
you know, but
Yeah,
there's.
at least
Go ahead.
at least shoot it off the bag before you even consider a bipod. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah. Buy yourself a good rest.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some suggestions on that too, because what I have here is definitely not gonna work.
Well, you don't want to take a pair of blue jeans and fill it with sand for something with the kind of rifle you've got. You
Right.
don't want to do that, please.
I also need to make sure that the bipod is not super heavy. I mean, that gun naked is 8
They're
pounds.
usually bipods are made from aluminum. They do make them from steel. Paul, correct me if I don't say that.
Yeah,
But
but they're made from, most of them nowadays are made from aluminum and carbon fiber,
yep.
Okay.
the better ones. So, uh, but it's just Chris Sharp is over here with with the MDT, which is, it's expensive, yes, but it is probably one of the better ones out there on the market now.
I have
Uh,
looked at them. I kind of cheated since the chassis of this rifle was manufactured by them. I kind of snuck over, looked over at their stuff, and was like, "Huh, well, at least I know this worked." And they
yeah.
weren't over expensive. They had tiered prices, so that
hmm
wasn't too horrible.
Talk to them.
They're on my list. Let's not forewarn them I'm coming, okay?
Not going to. Not going to.
I want them to
So.
answer the phone.
uh, yes, Idaho Rogers, an Atlas bipod with an Arca rail takes care of all needs. Yes, I agree, and it's a good starting uh, bipod as I consider it.
I've looked at them too, and I'm like, they were a little overwhelming, not with price, but all the options.
Well, that's the thing. The options of what you're going to do with it, though. That's the thing you have to decide. Okay, so
Okay.
how tall do you have to be in order to get into on one of their bipods? All right, I mean, when you're down in position, how tall is it? How tall are you off the ground to be comfortable with it?
I didn't even think about that. I guess,
So
that
that's
gives me an excuse to play with my, what do they call that? Drag mat?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
But when you get down, put the gun up onto something to sit there and try to, when you have a scope on it, so you can see where you're at, so um, I'm a little bit in the rotund area here, so I have to go up, 11 to 13 inches to be comfortable. So 6 to 9 inch bipod is too short for me. So it works out that way, and
The other consideration Paul's not talking about is the flora and fauna you're in. How are you going to be shooting? Are you going to be sitting down? Are you going to be kneeling? Yeah, I
right.
realize you're not going to kneel all day, but your positions will change. You need something that will be flexible like that. But really, to start out with, work on the prone. You have a drag mat. Use practice with that. Make sure your gun's empty. If you have to, take the bolt out so people know that my gun's not working. Go out in your yard and put that mat in your yard, Sharenda, and
Oh, hell no.
why?
No, not where she
No,
wants.
okay.
Get in
Never
Not
the,
where
mind.
I live at.
You know what
go
I'm trying to say, though. Do it at a range,
Yeah.
though.
go. You can do it in the hallway. Okay,
Yeah,
your
he's right.
house. And
Start with the shortest bipod you can.
and find out where you have to be.
Yep.
Codwell makes a rest that uses a joystick that works instead of a bipod to keep yourself centered, which is nice if you're shooting either prone or if you're up on a bench to shoot with.
I have one of those that Paul's talking about. I love it. But this is for precision shooting, not just field positions.
Okay.
So, but it gives you an idea of where you have to be and everything else. So, look around. That's all. Get your scope first. Decide on what you want to scope first, and then practice with different elevations till you can get comfortable and get a good natural point of aim before you pick so you know where your bipod's got to be.
Okay.
So
Sharp, shut up and behave. Trying to get the cops called at Shrinda. She puts a rifle in her yard.
Look, I think they are. Ever since I asked them about shooting my compound and crossbow in my backyard, and I got a firm no city ordinance. I feel like they kind of been perusing my neighborhood. Stop and look at. They actually have peeked in my backyard, and I'm like, oh, great. So,
Whoops.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
what did you do in guns reloading this week, Paul?
I put together my little case feeder for my Dillon here, and also set up a bullet feeder. I got a Hornady bullet feeder on that, and I put together the double alpha bullet feeder for a 550 on it, and it works pretty good. It's very nice. All I really have to do is watch for the powder drop and double check that by eye, and it makes a nice, comfortable reloading situation where I'm not flying, but I'm going faster than I can just on a regular 550, and I can also precision load 223 with it by just switching out my tool heads and going back to individually charging cases with it. So it's a nice
Paul,
little...
I do have a question about that that brass case feeder.
Yeah.
How do you load the case feeder itself?
There's a bowl you buy with it that's separate. That's about $20, and you just kind of put a handful of brass up in there and shake it, and
yes, sir.
It drops down. I think Lee does the same thing. Has some of the same parts. This one just has 6 tubes versus Lee's 5, and it works pretty nice. And the bullet tubes are just the same. You got to load those by hand, but it's 3 of them are $30 from Hornady, and you can load up 100 or so bullets in 3 tubes and switch them out as you go.
Sharp's picking on you, Sharenda.
You see my reply.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. No, a Theta is a better scope than that, Sharenda.
I don't even want another price tag of that.
Theta Tangent. So
Paul, every time you and Chris offer a product, I feel like I have to sell a kidney.
No, I'm not. I'm not putting you in that kind of position. So don't worry. I'm just sitting here trying to sit. I made a suggestion of an Arkin, which is a $600 scope, and as a good starter scope. So
you did, and I do have them written down for a call too.
And they make 2 of them, which are I think they're 5 to 25 and they're 4 to 16. And for me, a 5 to 25 is ideal. For you, the 4 to 16, because you're saying you want to limit yourself to 400 yards. So 16 power is great to 400 yards. People go to 1,000 yards with 18 power without a problem.
Oh, side note, well, actually, disclaimer, this range that I'm really interested in goes out to 1.5 miles.
Ooh,
So,
Color
yeah,
me green.
yeah, really.
and it's an hour away, maybe a little less.
Uh-huh. Then you want to go to the 5 to 25 when you start getting out that far. And we'll sit down and we'll start to learn we'll get you to tool heads and everything else and a scale for your 550, and we'll get you precision loading on it.
Scale? Oh.
Yeah. Goes to 200ths of a grain. And who was it that was I gotta remember who was yeah, there's a new person on a new company on the block on a that has a new trickler, a super trickler that fits on a FX 120i, and it looks to be a pretty nice option versus the auto trickler. So, because it's more expandable. So, anyhow, Mike, how you doing?
Okay.
What you do this week? Worked. Okay.
Started to sort through that 5-gallon bucket that I got. So from Jonathan.
Ah.
A little bit. I got a little bit out of it, but Friday afternoon I'm going to the range though. So
there you go. There you go.
I get half days on Fridays for the summer, so we got to be over to help a friend at 4:00, but in between the time I get done and hopefully gonna get out to the range for a little bit. We'll see.
That'll help with your stress, Mike. I know you're stressed out.
Probably not, because I've got a appointment to get a CPAP new mask on Friday too. So I think I'm going to cancel that though, so I can go shooting. The mask I got works. I mean, the Velcro straps I've just got tied instead, but it still works. It still seals. Those who have CPAPs understand the struggle.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one wasn't very happy with. It's actually the second one, because the nice thing about CPAPs, if your insurance is good, is you get basically everything but the machine every year. You can get brand new. Filters you can get more often, tubing you can get more often, but basically you get a new mask every year, the headgear and everything. So the first one, the Velcro started wearing out on the tension straps, so then I got the new one. Well, the new one, the Velcro wore out in like 2 weeks. So
have you tried the dental replacement for the CPAP machine yet?
what do you mean?
They have a mouthpiece that fits inside your mouth and actually forces your jaw open. And yeah, talk to your pulmonologist, and
Yeah,
it helps a lot. Okay, it keeps me from having to use a CPAP machine. So, and I'm bad. So,
yeah, I'll check into that. So I use a full face though, because my nose gets too stuffed up too often. So
this forces you to use your mouth to breathe with, and
I'm a dirty mouth breather.
By opening your jaw the right way, it prevents the prevents you from
choking.
and it moves the tongue forward and everything else, so it's out of the way. Which is one way to do it. So.
Yeah, Michael Dunn. Yeah, the biggest maker of CPAP machines has a recall. I finally got my new machine 5 weeks ago. So, Rob, what he's saying is the way it opens the jaw, it adjusts the back of that. So,
right.
Anyway, it depends on what type of constrictions you have that's causing the apnea. Some people that works with, some people it doesn't. So, but that's why Paul said go check with your medical professional to see if it will work for you.
Mm-hmm.
As we always say, your mileage may vary. Jim, you awake over there?
Yeah, just waiting for you to get back on topic so we can tell Sharp to take all that out.
Good luck with that. So he asked what I did this week, so I was talking about it. So
You were working.
It is on topic. So
actually, I don't think that's aimed so much at me as it is some of the whiners that are out there. You want to do some housekeeping, Mike? Go for it.
What whiners are we talking about?
What you were talking about in the host chat?
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, so yeah, that was kind of my week and upcoming week. So, like I said, I'm going to cancel that though. So, anyway, so we're talking about cartridges of bygone eras and etc. So one of the ones that was kind of mentioned at first was 223 WSSM, which was an utter waste. Why was it an utter waste, though? I mean,
well, they only made one rifle for it.
Yep.
Browning was the only people that made a rifle for it. It was a short cartridge, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Fat and short. And
sausagey.
There were other things that were on the market that were well respected and
function better.
Yeah, I mean 22-250, 220 Swift. There are just cartridges out there that did the job and you didn't have to worry about being limited to one gun. A Browning super short action, super short in a 22 caliber gun. Come on now, what are we talking here? And even in all the super short magnums, I mean there was some questions to why they did it. Did anybody on the panel ever or in the chat shoot a 223 Winchester super short?
Yeah, I did shoot it once. It was pretty snappy.
Recoil from a 22 caliber rifle, not 22 rimfire, 22 caliber.
Yeah.
Recoil.
You ever shoot a 22-250?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's got a little bit. But the
I admit there is recoil, but you said it was snappy.
Yeah.
I think he was meaning snappy because it's only a 6-pound gun.
Right.
Where you're sitting there with a 22-250, most of the time you're a 7 or 8 pound or even 9 or 10. Handy gun to carry. Yeah. But, in a 223, come on. I mean, we're sitting there looking at, a Fox and Coyote gun, maybe. And I'd rather carry either a 22-250 or a 220 Swift for my long shots, and for my closer in stuff, I'll bring an AR with me. You know, if I'm gonna
that, and the thing is it didn't get around the 22 caliber restrictions that certain states have for hunting. Like, say, for whitetail, I mean, it would have been an awesome whitetail round, but it didn't. It was a 22 caliber, so you couldn't hunt with it in any state that still had a 22 caliber restriction in place.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it's good gun, a good gun for very lightweight, but short action, short cartridge, and tough on barrels.
Yeah, it was a solution in search of a problem that didn't exist and still doesn't exist.
Right.
So
next one on somebody's list. Somebody mentioned the 224 Remington.
244 Remington or 224?
244 Remington.
Thank you.
yeah, the good old fashioned 244 Remington. Now, who's got an alarm? Anyway, so the two things that doom this is Big Green's inability to properly market anything ever, and more importantly, poor choice in twist rate.
Yep. That's exactly what the problem was with the 244.
And the bullet weight was limited to 90 or 95 grains
Because of the twist rate they chose.
because of the twist rate they chose.
Yeah. Now,
And
Winchester with the 243 using the same diameter bullets did not make the same mistakes in twist rate. It came around. I don't know which one came first. Do you, Paul, off the top of your head, or Jim?
Remington was first.
Okay.
Right.
And
what was that twist rate? Over 12, probably.
it was 1 in 12.
1 in 12.
On the Remington, and the Winchester came out with a 1 in 10. Okay, and the 1 in 10 would stabilize a 100 grain bullet, and the 12 would barely stabilize a 95 grain bullet.
I mean, absolutely, Jorgen just nailed it completely on the head. The 244 Remington is so outdated. The 6mm Remington is so much better.
And I shoot a 6mm Remington. I have a couple of them, in fact. But I'll be really honest with you. There is no 6mm Remingtons anymore. There is nobody making one anymore.
No,
they are gone. They've gone the way of the dodo. And
there's a detail in here missing in our discussion. You want to bring it up, Paul? It's a major detail.
Go ahead, sir.
Talk about the creation of the 6mm Remington caliber. How did that come about?
Well, Remington just decided that they were going to try to steal some of the 243's thunder, and they came out and instead of a 1 in 10 twist, they put a 1 in 9 twist in their barrel, and said, "Here you go! It's the 6mm Remington, all new, all improved." And it's a 244 that's just got a new head stamp on it.
Yep.
And,
exactly.
But people were sitting there going, "Oh, it's still a 244." And, Remington came out with them in their CDLs when they first came out with it. They chambered it in their 788s. They made varmint rifles in it and all that kind of good stuff, but it really got down to it's still a 244, and people were sitting there going, "Well, my 243, why am I going to buy a new 6mm? Really?"
Mm-hmm.
And this one has all the tricks and twists to it. So, yeah.
There's another detail that's not quite as significant about the 243, and that is the parent cartridge of that caliber is the 308 Winchester or 7.62 NATO.
Brass is a lot easier to find.
Oh my!
So
All you
Well,
gotta do is neck it down.
what was the 6mm Remington?
244. Oh, 30-06.
No, it was
7
a
mil?
7x57.
7 mil.
7x57, neck down to 6mm.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it's
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
yeah, you know. So
Well, at the time it came out anyway.
mhm.
Now it's probably a 3-to-1, 308 to 7x57. So yeah, see, that's the only problem with the Lyman's is it doesn't tell about the parent cartridge, and that's the one that I had handy was the Lyman book. Since we're in that lovely caliber, we'll wander right over to another failed idea. The 243 WSSM.
Winchester Super Short Magnum.
Yeah. So the biggest reason this failed is at best, you got 300 feet per second better than a regular 243 Winchester. What's the point? There was no point. So,
Not to mention the hellish bore erosion.
hellish bore erosion, increase in use of powder, and you weren't gaining enough to make it worthwhile. So, Shoot Off-Road wants to know, how does the 6 Rem compare to the 6 Creedmoor? That's a good question. I've not bothered to research that.
6 Creedmoor has got less powder capacity than the 6 Remington, but the 6 Creedmoor comes with a 1 in 8 or a 1 in 7.5 twist barrel, so it handles a 107, a 115 grain bullet whole lot better, and it's a higher pressure round basically than the 6mm Remington. It's a 55 to 60,000 psi round versus the Remington, which is a 50,000 psi round. The 6 Remington is a short action, so is the 243. But if you really want to make the 6mm Remington work, you put it in a long action and have it barreled that way. And you can really stretch out the bullet into the neck and put a 1 in 8 twist on a barrel.
So
go ahead.
No, I was going to say something, but it's a different topic. So finish up.
No, I was just going to say that you can push a 6mm Remington to the 55, 60,000 psi if you're careful.
Yeah, you can do the same thing with a 243. But
right. Well, 243 is already 55 to 60,000.
Let's see here. What's a hot load for 243? Yeah. So the nice thing is the 243, you've got everything from 58 grain all the way up to 105 grain. So, I mean, you get a lot of different options there. 55. Yeah, I mean, pushing it to 65 is not going to be a big, massive problem, but you don't want to, when you're talking a heavier bullet, like a 105 or a 90 or 100, because that's not much of an increase in the pressure. But if you want to push a smaller bullet, you're going to probably blow up your gun. But I mean, book loads for these are now 55 to 60 max. The highest pressure I'm finding is a flat 60, and that's for 90 grain. So, yeah. I mean, you're not. Whereas the short mag, the lowest pressure is a 65 grain at 61,200.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's one for 58,400. So it was back when everybody was enamored with a short action because people don't know how to work a bolt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really seriously practiced. I mean, I've done a bit with my 22 when I was getting ready for Appleseed, because you're not supposed to be able to shoot Appleseed with bolt. So I did a bit with that, but I watched my dad work his 303, and he's working it faster than a semi-auto. And that's a long action, kids. So it's practice. Some of it's
Yeah.
rifle ergonomics, but most of it's practice.
Jordan, the 243 is a short action cartridge, but the 243 Winchester Super Short is an extra short action, and Browning was the one that made the action for that. Again, just so we.
The cases were, the cartridges were made by Winchester, the rifles were made by Browning. It's all the same company at this point in time, and everything's made overseas. Anybody who thinks that Browning or Winchester is something special since the 90s, it's not. They're all made, all the rifles are made in the exact same factory over in Japan. The only difference, it's basically like comparing, say, a Chevy to a Cadillac. They put the extra bells and whistles on the Brownings that they don't put on the Winchesters.
And it used to be the other way around.
Yeah. Winchester used to be the better rifle back in the pre-64 days. So, I mean, literally, that's basically it. And honestly, most of the big difference between the Browning and the Winchester, the biggest difference between them, other than your finishes, the Browning has that fancy little bolt release when the safety's engaged. That's it. Otherwise, they're pretty much mechanically wise, they're about the same. So,
yeah.
Was there really any WSSM that was successful? I mean, maybe the 270, because the 25 was a bust. That was pointless.
I don't remember any of them that were successful, to be honest. So, you know. Okay, here's one that I'm thinking about. How about the 308 Marlin Express?
That was a pointless cartridge.
What is that? Isn't that a 308 rim cartridge?
The lever action.
Lever action, but it was
rim cartridge and lever action rifle.
It wasn't rimmed. No, it was not. It was a semi. It was a regular. It wasn't a rebated rim or anything. It was just a 308 that they called the 308 Marlin Express, and you got along with that the 30 TC. I mean,
Thompson Center.
Isn't there a 308 Marlin?
Yeah, that was Marlin Express. Yes. Yep. So
I'm looking in Lyman here to see if they have anything on it, and I don't see that they do. Unless they list it separate. But
what about the Ultra Magnums? The rums, as we call
them. Except for the 30, I don't think that there's anything really that's out there that that's popular. I mean, I mean,
well, the 7 rum is as an elk round.
But I don't hear a lot about any of the other ones.
No.
So they're fading way into obsolescence. They're not obsolete yet.
Yeah, they are pretty much fading away to obsolescence. Remington had a whole lot of problem with the rums and their rifles. they couldn't get them to feed right.
Mhm.
You'd shoot the gun, you come back, pull the bolt back, go to push a new cartridge in, and the cartridge would just pop right out. The feed rails on the side were too wide for it to work, and it would just pop right out. And not something you need if you're out bear hunting or something along those lines.
Mhm.
The 7
Rapid
rem
quality control.
short action ultramag is one
Say
of the
again,
worst.
Mike.
The SAUM, the short action,
Mm-hmm.
that was another pointless one like the WSSMs. And the 7mm Winchester short mag.
Yeah.
So hard to get good performance out of them, kind of pointless.
Wasn't there a cartridge called 350 Remington Magnum?
Yeah. That was a very popular round for a while.
Yep.
It was built up on their Remington 660 action, and it it had a plastic rib on the top of it that would melt. But
God.
it had a funny dog leg. Remember the 221, the XP 100 or so from Remington, the handgun.
Sure, it was left-handed handgun.
It had a dog leg in the bolt.
Yep.
Well, the 660 had the same dog leg.
Ah.
Okay, and so it was a very good short range gun, but the 660 gun itself was a little bit poorly designed and developed. Like someone needs a rail on top of their gun.
It sounds like the gun manufacturer's been playing the same game for years, just coming up with something new just to sell a new gun. I mean, a lot of these improvements you're saying really weren't improvements. They were just probably to sell more ammo and new guns.
Yep.
Same thing.
Go ahead.
Same thing's going on now.
Writer's been saying the same thing for years.
Yeah.
Dub D37. Yes, the 6.8 SPC. There's another one that was taking the AR-15 market by storm until they couldn't find it because it was costing over $1 a round for, at the time, 223 was 35 cents, 40 cents a round.
Oh.
And then it was the SPC2. So, yeah, 270 and basically is what it was. So, on shoot off road, okay.
The 300 hammer is still out there.
Yeah,
but it's a niche cartridge.
It's prioritized. Bill Wilson's gun.
Yeah. The 6.8 SVC basically it was 4 bullet weights, 90, 100, 110, and 115. Velocity mid to high 25 or 2000s. So
I don't think the 6.8's totally dead. Because didn't the Army just adopt the 6.8 by 51?
That's a whole different cartridge.
This is the SPC. This is
it was basically from what I remember, which it's my memory. So, excuse me. You're talking about a cartridge was basically replaced with a 300 blackout. because the 300 blackout, the sole purpose for the 300 blackout or 300 AAC whisper, whatever you want to call it, is it's highly effective out of a suppressor. Whereas a lot of these other cartridges haven't been. Because the whole purpose for the 6.8 SPC, it was fast. Light bullet, going fast, generating a lot of energy. If you slow it down, you lose all that. That's where the 300 comes in, because you're talking 200, 220 grain. You know, you can. I've seen some 300 blackout roads with 260 grain.
Wow.
Even subsonic, it's the 45 ACP principle. Big, huge chunk of lead moving slow is still going to have a good wallop of energy. So
Exactly.
Yeah, hunt, shoot, off road. Yes, I do have a chart up on my wall of cartridges, and I kind of look at them every once in a while. So
honestly, would not surprise me.
And another one, that we don't hear much about anymore is the 8mm Remington Magnum.
Yep.
Yep.
Basically, any of those larger Remington Magnums. The only one I really hear about is the 7 and the 300. Everything else is pretty much dead because there's stuff that works better.
They even made a 338 rum.
Yep.
The only reason for the 8mm Remington Magnum case is so you can make 7mm STW, shooting times Western.
Yep. And we actually have a rifle at the shop right now in the library in STW. So
it's a good cartridge, but again, it's a hand loading only cartridge. Really.
Yeah. I think I'd probably put 35 Rem in that group too. Yeah, they're still making ammo for it, and you can still get firearms in it, but it's not real popular.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much other. I mean, especially the 30-30 does pretty much everything the 35 Rem does without the recoil.
Yeah.
So.
With a lot better bullet choices.
358 Winchester would be another dead one.
Uh-huh.
So. It was basically a through 8 necked up to 358. So it was. And its performance wasn't
very good.
Any better.
Yeah.
M. Trundle. Yes, the 22 Hornet is still very popular here. They're still making firearms in it. In fact, you can get, I think, 4 different Savages in 22 Hornet. So, how about the black powder rounds? Like your 2025s, your 2520s, your 3855s.
I think most of the Winchester center fire cartridges are pretty much dead.
Well, most of the Winchester centerfires a couple of the common Winchester centerfires are actually now renamed basically. Like a 30 WCF is a 3030. There's a couple other ones, not off the top of my head. The 3030 is the big one that I always remember. But yeah, I mean, 22 WRF is a 22 mag basically. I mean, they're physically different, but pretty much everybody I know that has any firearm that's a WRF, they're shooting 22 mag out of it. So, have a good night, Nightcrawler.
Yeah, the old black powder cartridges, they were fine for the day, but once smokeless came on the scene, it kind of wiped all those out. It's just
Well, Spudman just said the 356 Winchester and the 375 Winchester, and what were we looking at before? The 3855 was it?
3855 and the
right. I mean, you can take all 3 of those cartridges, and they're all about the same, but they were at one time the 3855 was a very popular cartridge.
Yeah.
3220 was a huge whitetail cartridge.
Mm-hmm. The 348 Winchester too, if I remember right.
Yep.
Yep. It's about as powerful as a 30-06, and it's in lever action. There's another cartridge you just made me think of, 32 Winchester Special.
Mm-hmm.
It's not dead, but it's. I mean, they're making ammo for it, but it's nothing but really a fat 30-30.
Sharenda, the only 32 I've seen is ridiculous price wise. Over $50 a box.
Wow, for how many in a box? 20 or 50?
50. I haven't seen any self defense ammo in 32.
Are you needing 32 ACP, Shrinda?
I don't. I had really wanted to buy a pistol, but ever since, the start of the dark ages, I was like, I haven't seen any, so no, I don't have the pistol yet.
So I think we picked up for the Walther, what was that? $29 box, I think.
Yeah.
For
Under
50?
30.
Local
Under
to
30?
y'all?
Yeah.
What pistol were you going to pick up?
Well, it's for our PPK. For
Oh,
Shrinda.
No, Sharenda.
For me? Oh, I don't know. It was whatever was going to be in the store that day. I mean,
Then
we used to
don't.
have, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't buy a 32 just to buy a 32.
No, I'm not
Buy a
now.
32 because it's a collectible. Buy a 32 because it actually says 7.65 millimeter on it. Don't buy a 32 ACP pistol to buy a 32 ACP pistol.
Exactly.
You might as well shoot yourself in the foot with
It'll
a 12
hurt less.
gauge.
If you're going to buy a self-defense handgun, get yourself at least a 9mm.
I'm not even talking for that. Even if it's a range toy.
None of this was going to be for self-defense. It was going to be just.
I'm just saying, even if it's a range toy,
Yeah.
don't buy any regular 32s.
Yeah.
Find yourself a collectible.
Yeah.
And buy one of those.
25 autos in that same category. It's
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a waste of money.
Yeah.
25 auto.
Oh, who made the what was it? HSC.
Mauser.
Which is Mauser, yes, a Mauser HSC. That was in 32. That would be a decent one to pick up.
Well, another nice thing about the Mauser HSC, they made them in 380 as well.
Right. You can change
barrels,
interchange barrels and everything with it. So
that's still a little bit more affordable to shoot than the 32. So
right.
Ours is 32.
I think ours is 380. Yeah.
And 380 is easy enough to reload.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
380 is a piece of cake to reload. I loaded up a few thousand rounds of it when I had my LCP. So
yeah,
380.
380, which with 700X and a 90 grain bullet, and it was it's a simple load.
Or unique.
Yeah.
Running with Scissors says companies are constantly trying to remain relevant with newer and younger shooters, including the design. It's a throw against the wall and see what sticks marketing mentality. Right. Unfortunately, I have a feeling one of the cartridges is actually really good is going to fall into that category because of when they decided to release it, which is the 6.8 Western. So basically the 6.8 Western picked up where the 270 WSM left off as far as performance and goes to where the 270 WSM should have gone.
Mm-hmm.
So the 6.8 Western is actually a good cartridge. The 30 Super Carry, I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. If it catches, then it might be, but it was another one of those a solution in search of a problem. Because frankly, the recoil on a 9 isn't obnoxious. I have an LC9S single stack, which is even smaller than the Smith & Wessons that they're loading the 30 Super Carry in, and my LC9S recoils less than that Smith & Wesson EZ and 30 Super Carry that I shot at shot. So, how about pistol cartridges? Since we're talking,
okay.
Here's one that should go away, but it's not going to. And I like it very much, but 40 Smith & Wesson. It should have never existed in the first place. Honestly, it
Think
should
of
have
it as
never.
fat 9mm.
It should have never existed in the first place.
That was a political move.
Yep.
Supposedly, it was created. The story that I've always heard, it was created for FBI agents who could not handle the 10mm.
Right, you are. And instead of teaching them how to shoot, let's just take some powder out of the cartridge and chop it off. So, I mean, hell, they could have kept the 10mm and just put some, change the powder they were using in it and put some polyfill in the end of the.
It was cheaper to create a new caliber than it was to train their agents to shoot.
Supposedly.
The funny thing is that the original Norma 10mm was a bear to shoot. I mean, it really was a bear to shoot. And then they downloaded it, Norma did, to get it into that magical 45 ACP range. And it was easy to shoot. It's a dream to shoot. Then they said, well, it's too big of a handgun. The gun's too big. Long cartridges, long everything. And so we'll shorten it all up and we can get it, in a nice double stack that somebody can, a small statured person can get their hand around. 40 Smith & Wesson is short and weak.
Yep.
So, and another one that you can sit down that is really obsolete, and it makes it very dangerous for a lot of people is the 38 ACP. No, 38 ACP.
That too.
We have 38 Supers. Okay, and then we got 38 Super plus B. But you have the 38 ACP, which was a double toggle linked 1909, and people sit down and take the same cartridge, which is a 38 Super, put it in, and blow their gun up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the poorly designed use of the 38 ACP, which is and Super, which is a semi-rimmed round and head spaced off of that semi-rim. Yeah. Just poor design all the way around. But it was an FBI gun, guys.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would say 38 Smith & Wesson. Definitely a dead cartridge. The reason why 41 Magnum is hard to find is because nobody's making revolvers right now. Everybody's making semi-autos. And if they're making revolvers, they're only making them in 357.
Or 44 Magnum.
Not really. I have not seen a brand new 44 come into Cabela's since probably 3 months into COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, they're not making them. They're making 357s or 38s.
Yeah, that's all we're
Because
getting.
the 38s are the... What's that?
That's all we're getting is either 357s or 38s.
38s are the concealed carry baby ones, and then everything else is 357. No 44s. So the closest thing would be the Judge, which is... Anyway.
Yeah, well, I look at the 41 Magnum, and it was supposed to be a law enforcement caliber, okay, downsize of the 44, and then they downloaded it slightly instead of a 44 special. They just downloaded the 41 Magnum to about a 41 special, and boy, we're at the 10mm again there, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Might as well use moon clips.
Yep.
So, probably one that was dying until a new cartridge came out. 32 S&W short and long.
Mm-hmm.
and or not short S&W, but H&R. Sorry. And then
32 Magnum.
yep, because the 327 Federal came out and saved all three of those.
Right.
Because the 327 Federal uses a chamber designed to fire all three of those. So now you have cheaper alternatives and lower powered alternatives to fire your 327, which basically 327 is trying to get to 357 energy without 357 recoil. And it's close.
It's kind of like the 30 Super.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, we've got all the black powder rounds for pistol again, but we're not going to go into all the pistol rounds that have been created for Thompson centers because that doesn't count.
one-handed rifle rounds.
That's right.
Now, don't you start knocking my contender.
I didn't knock it. Said we're not covering those.
I know.
So Rob asked, even a new Vaqueros? No, nobody is making anything. Actually, I don't even think I've seen a new Vaquero. The only revolvers I've seen from Smith from Ruger is either the SP101s or the GP100s. And that's it. I haven't seen a Vaquero, nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Here's one for you. What about the 45 long Colt?
So the 45 Colt.
No, I said long Colt.
And I'm correcting you. The 45 Colt appears to have become popular again because people are getting back into single action shooting. It's not really ever gone away. It's just single action shooting, especially courtesy of Eva Roy and his granddaughter, got a lot of publicity in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And it really started a new interest into single action shooting. And the reason I corrected Jim is because the 45 long Colt does not exist. It's the 45 Colt. That is the actual name of the cartridge. The reason people call it a long Colt is similar to what Paul was just talking about with the 38 ACP and the 38 Super. A 45 ACP is not something you want to put into your 45 Colt firearm. 45 Colt was first, by the way, in case you want to have an argument about it. Samuel created that long before John Moses Bruning created the God's cartridges, some people like to call it. So,
as Mike knows, hasn't said, I'm just being a smartass and using the wrong name deliberately. He knows I know better than that.
Yes, he does, but I have fun. We have fun doing it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that if it's your friends, go ahead and correct them. If it's somebody you're walking to in the store, leave it. It's not a big deal.
Oh,
it's
some
like
of y'all
potato,
can't resist.
tomato.
Some of y'all just can't resist.
The two things I've given up correcting people on is 40 long Colt or 45 long Colt and clip versus magazine. It's pointless. Right, Nick?
Yeah, but you know what I'm going to buy and take it into work? I'm going to buy one of those super large. No, the super large paper clips.
Mm-hmm.
This is a clip. This is a magazine. But no, I'm on the same boat. It's like, yeah, we get the clip versus magazine and then 45 long Colt. I'm like, there's no such thing.
Right. It's a clip-zine.
Yeah, I can't keep digging a hole. It's just not going to change anything.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with correcting people. Just don't be an asshole.
Oh no, there is.
Yes, some manufacturers do print 45 LC on their barrels. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
On that 38 special to I look at 38 special and the 45 Colt. What they get for a box of 50 compared to what you pay for like a box of 50 45 ACP, it's almost double in some places. Other than a little more brass, I don't see because the powder charge is similar, the bullet weight's similar. I mean, why the huge increase in cost?
Volume.
Yeah, it's got to be.
No, it is volume. It is volume. I mean,
For
48
every
45
every one,
ACP
yeah,
is
volume in sales.
yeah.
right.
Okay.
For every one Colt cartridge that's sold, there's 1,000 ACPs.
Gotcha.
Actually, it's probably more than that. I'm just giving it as an example.
And it's like 9mm. I mean, you look at 9mm to see what what volume is. Before COVID started, we were buying 9mm for 20 cents a round. Was it worth reloading at the time?
No.
No.
Neither was 5.56 at that time.
Yeah. Now, but that's why that's one of the reasons why we do what we do.
Because we knew it was going to go up at some point in
That's
time.
right.
And now I'm still loading it for 22 cents a round, and people are paying 80. People were paying
$1.
80 cents to $1 a round for it, and I'm just like, oh darn. It sucks to be you. It sucks to be you.
Yeah.
It's like shot shells. People give me so much crap for getting into shot shell loading. And then COVID hits, and you can't find shot shells for 6 months. I mean, literally, you could not find shot shells for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, sucks to be y'all. And one of the counter guys goes, why? I said, because I have enough at home to... I said, granted, I don't have enough hulls, but that's not a problem. If I really need to, I go out to the range and get them.
Yeah.
But I said, I have enough supplies to be able to load up 25,000 shot shells.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, suckers. People kept giving me crap because I was loading up shot shells, and you could get the 100 packs from Walmart for $22. And I'm
Which,
like,
by the way, are now $42.
$45.
Yeah.
Walmart 2 days ago, $45.
And they're not the same as a Winchester double A.
No.
And that's the thing I was explaining is I'm like, so yeah, that's fine. You can go buy that $22 thing. I'm not shooting those. I'm shooting double A's.
Yeah.
How much are double A's a box?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm using double A's. I'm using double A wads. I'm using the same powder they're using, and I'm using the same ounce shot charge. So I'm shooting double A's.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's that's the thing that we all look at. I mean, 308. I used to go through lots of 308, and I'd load them up for it's about 75 cents a piece with a match bullet, and you go look to buy a match bullet 308 online now, and you're going to spend $1.50. Okay, easy. No, the talk of the dead cartridges is to see, the guns that were chambered for them and see what people here had, and if they are reloading any of them, if they're doing anything with any of them. We want to know,
Right. So if you're still loading for any of these, or you have firearms for these, send us emails. reloadingpodcast@gmail.com.
Exactly.
I mean, we could really go into black powder, like Sharps and Spencers and Martini Henrys and everything else like that, because that's a whole different category. And that was a lot of those were because technology simply passed them by.
Yeah. We could have almost a whole episode on military cartridges.
10 gauge, no. 10 gauge I put in the same category as 16 gauge. It ebbs and flows. You can go buy brand new firearms in 10 gauge. You can go buy brand new firearms in 16 gauge. And ammo manufacturers are pumping out 10 and 16 gauge shells now. So I don't put either of those two in this category. 24, however, yes. 8 gauge, 6 gauge, 4 gauge.
Tough.
Takes a hell of a man to handle a projectile 4 ounces of lead at one time.
They're actually still allowed to use 4 gauges across the pond. I was talking to a customer the other day, and they're still allowed to use 4 gauges across the pond.
That'll take it down a whole flock of ducks.
Right? So, Homer, yes, 410's still around. It's still alive, and it's still kicking really well. And there's some really darn nice guns out there in 410s. I have a lever action. Ooh, West Covina Dodge. I think Nick might want to get a hold of you.
I want that. If he doesn't want it, send it to my way.
I think Nick wants those West Covina Dodge.
Just send all you want. Just keep on sending it. It'll get used.
He said he's got 250 pieces of 24 gauge brass in the box. The reason for that is the 24 gauge brass works perfectly for making a certain.
There's one of them.
Couple of cartridges.
There's Snyder, Martini Henry.
Yeah.
But big fun toys.
Yep. So
that's like going back to 410. If you can find 410 holes, you're sitting on a gold mine almost right there.
Oh yeah. I'm going to be winding up paying through the nose for 410 holes as soon as I finally get that press from you, Nick, and get that converted over. Because, yeah.
We're looking at doing away because I picked up at Sarco a box of original 410 infield blanks. Or no, these are infield shot, like a round ball.
A round ball.
And I'm going to try to make some duplicate loads, but I got to find a die to size the case. And
we may be talking to you, Jim. See if you can modify something for us.
No problem.
I don't know. Did they ever make a lead loader in 410? I know they did in 12 and 20.
They did, not that I know of.
Or the hand kit, I mean.
The hand, right.
They did. I was looking those up on eBay.
Oh, I'm sure they're probably $100 or more.
$260 average.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I had a heart attack when I saw it. I'm like, oh my God.
You can buy a brand new 600 Junior outfitted in 410 for that.
Well, a guy at the gun club meeting on Sunday had 2 Mech Juniors but he wasn't there. I was going to ask him what do you want for them because they were 2 brand new.
All he needs is a sizing die, and I figure if we can have somebody make us just a sizing die, that's all we need.
Well, you can't use a normal sizing die for it?
You probably could. I mean, that's
because the normal sizing dies on those are designed to size the brass as well.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. It'd be worth an experiment.
Right.
$260 for a lead loader. My God.
Yeah, it's
444 case sizing die.
What's that again, Paul?
444 sizing die.
Okay.
Hey, Homer, like this one?
Did you hear that? 444 sizing die.
Did you hear? And so Homer said he's got a Stevens bolt action mag fed, fun to shoot. Mine's tubes fed instead of a box mag, but I have a 20 gauge and a 12 gauge out there that are both box mag fed. They're detachable box fed. So anyway, I mean, we could easily we could spend months of research and probably do an entire 6-week, 8-week episode on all the different cartridges that have come out and gone away. If we get into Wildcats and everything, we just kind of touched on some of the more popular ones. Some of them that may still be being hand loaded for.
Yeah.
Some of them not. I mean, some of the stuff we've talked about tonight, you can't find stuff for, and you can't load for it. So if you got a gun in it, it's a wall hanger.
Just kind of preparing for this podcast, I got to look up a lot of your big game cartridges. A lot of those are obsolete anymore. I mean, there's a handful that are still around that are still being used, but there's a bunch that are no longer being used.
Uh-huh. And some of it has to do with bullet design. Some of it has to do with powder changes. So USM Idaho Rogers USMC said bring back the cartridge corner. We're working on it. What we're doing first is we're working on getting better on planning topics for every show. When we get the handle on that, then we're going to bring the cartridge corner back. So, but the other thing I want everybody to do is send us an email. Who do you want us to try and get on the show? Not like, if you want to say a rep from X company, that's fine. But if there's other people you want to try and have us get on the show, I'm not promising anything. I don't have a lot of connections, but we'll see what we can do.
How about if we have some of the peanut gallery come on once in a while?
That was another thing that was suggested. Is some of the regulars in the peanut gallery join us for a show and talk to us about their setups, show off their setups. So. West Covina Dodge talking about calibers. He says all the gun broker ads for 460 Weatherby say hasn't been shot much. I wonder why.
Exactly. Same thing for the 458 Win Mag.
I fired a 458 Win Mag. That's not horrible.
Used to do bowling pin shoots with a 458 Win Mag. Okay, so.
God, you got a bunch of strikes with that.
Oder Sigerson said there's a book, Cartridges of the World by Frank Barnes, 16th edition, and it has great info, including obsolete American rifle cartridges.
That's a good one. Also, this is like my Bible.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's for manual cartridge conversions, but yeah, Cartridges of the World. I think I have an older copy of that somewhere. Maybe not.
Idaho's got a question or request.
Brig Kenny. Kenny who? I don't know Kenny. Kenny from South Park?
Is that Kenny from Eagle Eye?
Gungeon, I am pretty sure that that will never happen because I'm not important enough for Gavin. So, Gungeon said Gavin from Ultimate Reloading. Oh God, that would be awesome. Eagle Eye would be another awesome one. I don't know. Maybe I can get Travis to work with Loads of Bacon and maybe see. I still want to get.
We've had Bacon on the show.
Yeah, but Bacon's friends with Eagle Eye and Gavin, so maybe we could use that connection to try and maybe get him on there. I don't know, but
that'd boost our ratings.
I mean, that's the thing is those guys are huge, and I don't know if they're going to want to step down into our little dominion.
First I can say is no.
Step down into our cesspool.
Yeah. So
first I can say is no or not answer at all.
Right. Yeah. So, but send us emails, reloadingpodcast at gmail.com. And let us know who you want to join us. And you that are normally in the chat, excuse me, Chris Sharp said Rex from Super Tickler, that's already in the works. I have a commitment from Rex to come on once it's released. So that is in the works. We will have Rex from Super Trickler on. We've been talking back and forth, Rex and I have been quite a bit about that. So right now, his big problem is everybody's problem, supplies. So honestly, if it's pre-COVID, that thing's been out for 6 months already. Oh, and speaking of supplies, Frankfurt Arsenal pushed the 10 stage back again.
Vaporware.
Yeah. It's like Keltec.
Yeah.
Mike, we should just grab those presses at Shot and made a run for it at this point.
Right? They wouldn't have missed them. Elvis ammo we tried before, but we'll try again. But quit putting those in the chat and start sending me emails, you bums. And Chris Sharp, I don't know what sort of promise that actually is. He said, I'll promise I'll be on my best behavior if one of the big names comes down to slum it with us.
Chris can't help himself.
What is the definition of best behavior for him? 2 smart ass comments per minute?
Nothing is sacred from that boy.
Hunt Shooter Roads and get Travis on the show. Yeah, I've gotten Travis cornered, and I've got him to promise to come on once a month. So
I want me to see if I can get a Savage rep to
yes,
talk about their product. First thing tell me is no.
yeah, love to have Savage on. Sell the hell out of their projects or products. So
yeah, I keep looking for one of their rifles, and everybody tells me they're out of stock.
Which one is
what
it?
rifle?
Their bench rest with 6mm Lapua, and laminated stock. Got loads from the left and ejects from the right, and all that fun stuff. Just want to, try a factory rifle once.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
I have seen it. I can't say I've seen it in store, but I had to Google it right quick. I've seen that one. Huh. What caliber again?
6mm Lapua bench rest.
Okay. I don't think I saw it in 6mm.
Do they make it in 6mm?
Oh yeah, it's in their catalog, but they just not making them right now. That's all. But it's an interesting because it comes with a 26-inch barrel, which is what I want, and because the barrel does come off with a barrel nut, I can get a 22 caliber barrel spun up and then shoot it in 22 Lapua bench rest.
Oh, is that their Model 12 bench rest you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you were closer, I'd have our special order department put in a request for it.
I'm a little far away.
Yeah, I know. Comes in 6 Norma bench rest, but I don't see 6 Lapua.
Same thing.
Okay.
Same thing. Yeah. Norma, Lapua, the same.
All right. So go to your well, no, because I don't know if any of your stores out around there are actually decent. So
let me make sure I understand this correctly. For we want to see if we can get industry guests on the panel, because what I don't want to hear is complaints about who we may get on the show. Like, it's not related to reloading. That's what I don't want to hear. So
right.
Or read. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at industry guests and industry related. Now, firearms manufacturers and scope manufacturers would count for that, because if we don't have firearms, we don't have scopes, we kind of can't do what we're doing. Well, we can do without the scopes, technically.
If we can get Jerry or his daughter on here, I'm fangirling all the way. I would not be on my best behavior.
I already asked Lena at SHOT Show, and she said no.
She said no?
She Good said luck no. with that.
Damn.
She says no, I don't have time. Because I've followed Lena on Instagram for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and more than that actually. And I've talked to her at pretty much every NRA show, and the last couple shots. So she kind of knows that I exist. So it's not like just a random person walking up to her and asking her. I mean, she if you walked up to her, she couldn't pick me out in a crowd. I guarantee you that. But I also tried to get Julie Golub on when she was still doing the podcast for the network,
So what I'm reading is, Hunt Shoot, you're not interested in learning about different women holsters?
Ooh, I bet you I could get the gals from flashbang on.
Oh gosh.
Have you seen all the holsters they've got? Not just the bra holster.
No.
You need
The
to look.
bra holster won't fit my bra.
You want to bet?
I know for a fact.
Oh, you've tried it?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna have Julie get a hold of you.
Have her do that because I got some complaints and some explainings I need.
All right. I'll have Julie get a hold of you.
Nick's up there dying.
Maybe we can get Candy to do a guest appearance on the show too.
She's still in the she's still locked in the closet.
Oh my God, Nick, you just flipped somebody off.
Oh, I'm sorry, she hasn't come out of the closet yet.
Can today get any weirder?
God.
Jeez.
West Covina Shirley is never going to talk to anybody.
Hey, don't call me Shirley.
No, he's talking about the inspector.
Oh,
The Lee mold inspector.
Yeah,
I don't know. I might be able to pull that off. I've been to Lee before, so anyway.
you should try it.
No hunt shoot off road. I'm not getting Rosie from her today. Anyway, I'll be back in a second. I just started raining. My wife left the umbrella up, so I got to go put that down for a second. I'll be right back.
Y'all
Chat
should get
amongst yourselves.
Rosie from Hornady.
Maybe Nick's got a
How about Rosie
Rosie?
the reloader?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Think
Go
she'd
ahead and get
summon-
Rosie.
You think she'd sum it out with us?
She may even wear her short little shorts too.
Talk about unreality.
I mean, she could be an intelligent, truly knowledgeable, and capable reloader after her 15 minutes of video. Oh my gosh, I'm going to hell.
You trying to say she could be like you, knowledgeable and intelligent?
No, I don't claim. I claim to not be the brightest crayon in the box. And I definitely do not have any issues with letting people know what I don't know, but definitely what I know, I have no issues with.
Yeah. You've learned a lot just coming on this show.
I do, and I stay in y'all DMs appropriately too. Yes, Paul Loud. Mike was talking about Rosie the Reloader.
He went chasing after her because it started raining at his house. Still can't believe. Excuse me. Still can't believe Nick flipped you off, Sharanda.
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised. I've harassed Nick enough times.
You bet.
Well, that was more
Unfortunately,
fun
it
than
could
I
get
should be
worse.
allowed to have.
There's a question for you,
Who
Paul.
started the candy joke?
You'll have to go back and watch episodes to figure it out.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry, Candy. I didn't mean to call you a joke.
Moving right along.
They're basically the same cartridge. The bench rest. The Norma uses a heavier bullet. That's all. So otherwise, the dimensions are basically the same.
Excuse me.
That's on the 6mm bench rest. And
Paul, do you want that extra window brought
yeah,
in?
bring that up. That's for Sharenda there.
Which one?
Crayons.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
That's
I don't
also
know
Oh,
if she'll
wait.
get that, Joe.
Yeah, I get it now. It took me a minute to realize, oh, those weren't Crayola.
Idaho Rogers. That one's for you too, just so you know.
Yep. Yeah, I saw those the other day and I was laughing my ass off. I'm part of the We Like Shooting Secret Santa. A couple of years ago, I had somebody that was a Marine and his brother is in there too, and his brother says, if you don't send a box, I'm coming to your house. So yeah, he got a big box. So they're all great if you close your eyes. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, shout out to Jake and Ryan over at Patriot Patch Company. Jim showed off the patch earlier. It's a Molotov cocktail. It's pretty awesome. Jim's showing it off again. So,
Inspired by the Ukrainian conflict.
well, actually, that was before that, but that's the next. So, but that follows along with all of the Julys. So, Primary Arms. Strike Industry stuff's on sale right now. Go get some. Anyway, I can't talk about Primary Arms. They've got so many different options and so much stuff they've got that you can go get there. They're always running on sale on something. And they don't run a sale because everything's overpriced to begin with. They're pretty competitive with their pricing compared to Brownells and Midway and Palmetto State Armory and Classic Firearms. It's not like, it's a great, huge thing there. I mean, there's a couple other sites out there that I'm sure are cheaper on a regular basis, but I don't spend a lot of time looking at it. Nick and Ray may know if there's some other stuff out there that's like considerably cheaper usually.
What's that?
For like
Primary Arms is.
Oh,
firearm stuff.
They're competitive. I
yeah,
mean,
they're in the competitive range.
Yeah, so
They're one of my main go-to stops first because they're usually right in the middle of the road or sometimes cheaper, depending. That's
and you
one of my
can
first
tell
stops.
if they've got stuff in stock easily.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wait till you add it to your cart and then they tell you it's out. And more importantly, unlike Optics Planet, their inventory is actually consistently accurate. Where you don't find out 3 weeks later that it's out of stock. So, and yes, I'm taking cheap shots at Optics Planet. No, I don't ever want them as a sponsor because they've shafted too many people I know, including myself. So, the weird thing is the DVOR is their clearinghouse, kind of like Wood is for Amazon. And amazingly enough, everything I've ever ordered through DVOR, I've never had a problem with. But the couple of things I've actually ordered through Optics Planet, I never got. So, anyway. Anyone got any shout outs? No. Okay. All right. On that note,
I was just going to say one last thing. I was trying to type it in before you, so I missed it. Trendy, don't forget to check on Primary Arms on your bipod.
Oh, thanks.
there you go. Anyway. So.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Hey, Jim.
Sorry.
If you're going to move that closer to the camera again, you need to turn the lights down. Put a hat on because we don't want to blind all of our listeners. I mean, there's some up there, but there's a lot of blind spots. All right.
Pick on Ray, goddammit. I'm sorry. Take it out, Ray. Chris?
He keeps his head out of the view. Have you noticed?
No,
He
that's
doesn't
Nick
stick it
doing
right into the freaking
that. Ray's got it right. Put on shades. Let everybody else suffer.
I didn't know he went outside. Oh, sorry. Remy, come here. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Oh, come here, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know you snuck out, dude. I shut the door behind me. Oh, I'm sorry. So in my rush to put the umbrella up, I accidentally shut little dude out. So I had to apologize to him. I'm a jerk. All right. On that note, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Millsap short bus.
teach them shoot and reload when they're young.
Teach Get your lady to reload, and then let us pinch off your stash a little bit.
Grandpa told me, don't listen to your mama. Violence does solve problems.
Support the Second Amendment, 2A forever and all the way.
West Covina Dodge. Not only no, but hell no.
Yes, absolutely. All the dead primers.
You can give yours away. I'm not giving my away.
The dead ones?
Yeah, go
They're
ahead.
brass. They're number 2 grade brass.
No, I got plenty of options on how to reload them. So the folks on that reloading primers group on MeWe are making some serious headway.
Yep.
There's a couple of folks that have made up some jigs for loading 100 at a time. They've got a lot more stable chemicals, and they've got a lot more available stable chemicals to use. So a lot more consistent mixing. They're really, really coming a long way with that. So anyway.
So now all I have to do is flood my reloading room with a 1/16 of an inch of water, put a grounding strap on, and
No, God, no.
Oh no. No, it's non explosive while you're making
while
it
you're
and
mixing.
everything.
Okay.
It's not until it dries. So check it out though, Paul. You'd be amazed at some of the stuff they're coming up with. DW D37, no, they're not making them out of matchsticks. So anyway, and yes, Paul Love, they're reloading once fired primers. So anyway, more importantly and most importantly, if you're struggling, reach out, get some help. It's the biggest, best, most important thing you can do. 1-800-273-H55. Give them a call. It's a great place to go and a great place to reach out. Reaching out is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. So, good night, all.
Good night.
Click that like button, guys. Click that like button.